Hey, this is Steve Bloom, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hi, this is Pat Fraley, purveyor of Duck, Dog, and Villain voices, and you're watching Altered Geek.
Hello and welcome to Altered Geek Unlimited. I am your host this week, Michael Powers. I'm joined via phone, again for the second week in a row, by Steve Megatron Phillips.
Yo.
It does sound different. I was about to say it doesn't sound all that different, but it does.
It sounds a little bit different.
Yeah, just a little bit. Actually,
Just a little.
You can't really tell that it's you can't tell it's a phone though.
No, but it's definitely a different microphone.
Yes, definitely different. So, why don't we start this off with a house update?
Okay.
Just get that out of the way.
Well, we discovered that one window that we had the bad drywall in, apparently the wood around the window was rotted, and so the roof was partially leaning on the window. So, I have some family members that are doing it right and repairing it. They just put drywall on it today and get to plaster it and get it ready for priming. And then I got a couple other window leaks and a couple other random things. We had linoleum picked out. It was remnants, and we didn't realize that when we unrolled it, it wasn't enough for the room, for the office. And not only that, but the pattern on it, because it was like a wood pattern, the width of the fake wood that was on the linoleum was different on each sheet that we had.
Brilliant.
So we took it all back, and then so we've been without it for a few days, and Mary just happened to get some of the stick down squares that you put piece by piece.
Okay.
They messed up in the store, so it came up as buy one get one free.
Oh, nice.
So, because they don't ever do that, but she said that there was a sticker that was, or not a sticker, a sign that was right in front of it. And I said, "You didn't move it, did you?" And she's like, "No." And I said, "So they gave it to you, buy one get one free?" She says, "Yeah." She says they didn't really argue with me because the sign was actually there. So, so yeah, we got buy one get one free on it. So it cost the same amount as the remnants, but we got the same style for the entire room. So tomorrow we get to lay that and then put the quarter round in, and I can put my office back together.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said you get internet at the end of the month.
Yeah, carpet's coming on the 28th.
Good deal. Good stuff.
Yes.
Still enjoying the homeownership experience?
Yes and no.
It's a lot better once everything's set.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm gathering. It's right now we're like, oh my God, so much money is coming out, and we're having to fix this and that, and this is going on, and we're discovering this problem, and so I mean, but it's a lot of neglect over the years. It's not necessarily that they were ghetto rigging it or anything. It's just certain things weren't taken care of properly. So it's we're going through making it how it should be. So, but yeah, it's coming along.
It's always fun. I think I'm just my home front. I'm getting ready to with my dad. I'm getting ready to install a water softener, and I'm toying with the idea at the same time that we install the water softener to install a tankless water heater.
Huh.
Because it's one of the things that I've wanted for my home since I moved into it. Because when we moved into our home, I immediately wanted to do anything that I possibly could to keep my energy costs down. And so one of the first things I did is I actually went out and bought a contractor's box full of compact fluorescent lights.
Nice.
And replaced every bulb in the house with those, so that while we've got all the lights on in the house for painting and carpeting and cleaning and stuff like that, we're not, using incandescent bulbs for everything. And then
Makes sense.
And then after that was done and we were kind of settled in and everything, I slowly started replacing the most used lights in our house have been replaced with LED bulbs. So I have the power consumption of the lighting in my house. I halved it, when I got the keys, and then I halved it again, after we had everything was built and fixed and whatnot. Because I don't know, I didn't want to stand. So basically, what I found out was by replacing all the bulbs in my house, in most bathrooms you have like a vanity style mirror with like the 6 light bulbs in it. The previous owner, in those 6 bulbs, she had 100-watt bulbs in each one.
Oh, wow.
So when you turned on the light in the bathroom, it was 600 watts worth of electricity. And I can now turn on every light in my house for less than 200 watts. Every light in my house.
That's awesome.
So that was one of the things I was going to tell you, like when you got your home, I was going to tell you, just head out to Lowe's or Home Depot and grab a contractor's pack of the compact fluorescent bulbs. They're like, I think it was like $12 for like 12 of them or something like that.
Well, we actually have some, and the nice thing about this house is they have a lot of actual the longer tubed fluorescent lighting all over the place.
Oh, nice.
They have, like for instance, underneath the cabinets in the kitchen, because they remodeled in '04, there's little mini fluorescent bulbs that you can turn on underneath so you can see the counter better.
Oh, cool.
And they've got a lot of fluorescent lighting in certain areas, and then the way some of the lights are set up, it just a lot of it's laid out pretty nice as far as lighting and the electrical plugs. So
yeah,
but I still have to change a lot of bulbs over though.
Yeah, when we moved in, I got really obsessed with like the style of bulbs, compact fluorescents and LED bulbs, and the light temperature that they put off, like the color of the light. I got really obsessed with that. Like I was very conscious of what color light I was picking out for each room and what was best for it. Like, like you want like a bright white or a soft white in normal living areas, because they're not as harsh. But I have daylight colored bulbs for outside. So at night, like the yard is lit up like it's like daytime. But I actually noticed something. I actually noticed something really, really funny. Well, it's not that funny, but I have 2 porch lights, and I had the daylight colored, the daylight bulbs in them. And every summer, spring, summer, fall, without fail, at night when the bugs come out, my front door is like covered in those things, in bugs. And it's like you have to like, run in the house as fast as you can, and invariably, 6 bugs come in with you. And the cats get to have fun for like 30 minutes. But this year, I thought, my sister needed new light bulbs for her house. So we went light bulb shopping last Friday. And I decided to try out these new, they're not new, but they're non-bug attracting lights. They're an orange color, which I don't really care for. But I was like, I'll try these out. So I bought them and I installed them on the front porch. Unfortunately, since I installed them, it has been too cold for bugs to get to my front door.
So you can't actually test it.
Yeah, I can't tell if they're working or not. But I can say that since I've put them in, there have not been any bugs by my front porch. However, it has also been less than 60 degrees outside since I put them in. Anyways, enough about that stuff. I suppose we need to talk about the Batsuit.
Yes, I think we should.
And
This is actual prominent news that is worth bringing this topic back up.
and the Batmobile. Well, shouldn't really say. I can't really call it a picture of the Batmobile because it's not a picture of the Batmobile. It's a picture of like the windshield.
Well, did you see the full released prototype picture?
I saw the one on Slash Film that was like the clay model,
Yeah.
like unfinished without the wheels. But I understand that that's what it looks like, but at the same time, the picture that was, the actual picture that was released, you can't really see the Batmobile like at all. And I just thinking back, and this is not me having a hard on for the Nolan films, but I remember in 2003 seeing pictures of the Tumbler for the first time, like actual finished, like not finished like photo stills, but this is the Batmobile, and they had it like outside in the woods, and so you could actually see what the thing looked like. And I remember people pitching a fit over the way that it looked and stuff like that. But like this is just such a tease. It's not even like an actual production photo or anything. It's just it I guess was actually taken from Zack Snyder's camera with his own filter put over top of it. Like it's a I guess you could
like a
call
monochrome.
it like, yeah, I guess you could call it like an official unofficial photo of Batman and the Batmobile. But so I think we can just say that we called this 9 months ago? 8 months ago?
Roughly that.
Like right when we started this show was after they announced that Man of Steel 2 was supposed to be Batman versus Superman, and there were all types. That's when we started this show and we started talking about it and what we thought the suit would look like, and we pretty much nailed it. As far as the general look, it was going to follow the Henry Cavill Man of Steel suit. It wasn't going to be they'd kind of mastered the cinema fabric of the superhero outfits, if you will.
Yeah.
With the Superman suit, and it was just a matter of translating that over to a bat suit. The one thing I will say, I am wondering about the cowl more than anything.
Okay.
I have a theory, and again, we've only seen like a black and white photo. We don't even know the color scheme of the suit. We don't know if it's gray or black on gray or if it's blue on gray. But I think the cowl is more Adam West cowl than helmet cowl. I don't know why. There's just something about the way that it looks. I think the cowl is actually going to be like cloth this time.
Well, I think it'll be like a rubbery cloth. I don't think it'll be a full-on like graphite helmet.
Right.
Like what the Nolan verse was. The thing about it is I think, and I kind of was guessing that they'd either go like New 52 route or the Hush cowl, which the Hush cowl is very close to the Adam West. It's just the like the darker, more modern bat cowl.
All right, I'm just saying, like from a cinematic materials aspect, like it's always been.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
It's always been like formed latex from like the Burton stuff and the Schumacher stuff, and then Nolan turned it into basically what amounted to a helmet. I think this is going to be more like cloth based, kind of like not. I mean, it's not going to be shiny like the Adam West one was. I'm just saying it's going to be cloth like the Adam West one was. Like I don't think it's going to be. I don't think you'll see like Ben Affleck's face like not glued to the mask. Like I don't think you'll see his face moving around separate from the mask, like it's too loose or something like that. But I think that just the way that it looks, I think he's going to be able to turn his head and everything, kind of like Bale was in the last two movies. But given that they don't have the joints that Bale did and the way that it seems to flow like it's one piece, I really do think it's going to be, at least on the surface, it's going to be cloth. It may be armored underneath that. So,
yeah, I think this suit is going to be mostly a lot of concealed armor.
You can see
which
that.
is actually, which I can see it because of the indentations in the suit. And actually, that's more preferable to me anyway, is having the the armor actually under the suit and having the design on the outside, because it would be kind of like the in essence how the Arkham Asylum suit would be.
Okay.
To some degree. You know how they have it underneath and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also got a little bit of texture to it, and because it's got this gray scale, it's kind of hard to tell what colors are going on with it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
sorry.
I'm fine. Oh, it's all right. Honestly, I'm fine with if they go dark blue with like the dark gray, or if they go black with the dark gray. I just hope they don't go all straight black.
Yeah. Did you see It was another one that was on Slash Film, but it probably made its rounds around the internet. There was a fan-made image where they colorized it.
No, I haven't seen that.
They colorized it with the dark blue on gray, and it looked pretty good. In fact, the dark blue on gray is the one thing that actually made me start going, I think that is a cloth cowl. But I will say this, he looks huge.
Oh yeah, and they said he was going to be.
So I'm actually kind of, I don't know, I like the way Batman looks. I don't know. I think it's because you and I like kind of nailed this look, you know, when we started this podcast, that when it kind of came out, I was like, oh, okay. And when they were like teasing like it's a whole reinvention of like the Batman suit. I don't know. Like it's almost like one of those things where I think every version of the bat suit that could possibly be outside of like things that are like crazy, outrageous, like color scheme wise, I think pretty much has been done. And at this point, it's just mix and matching from previous suits. Like, and that goes for like the comics or the games or like the movies and stuff like that. So when I saw Batman this time, I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I kind of had the same reaction as kind of some of the other people on my Twitter feed, which was, now where's Wonder Woman? Because I think a lot of people just, you know, Batman's going to look like Batman, but I think most people are kind of more interested right now in how is Wonder Woman going to appear? You know, are they going to put her in pants? So, and I have to agree. I'm more interested to see what, you know, how Wonder Woman looks. But if it's as faithful to the character as his Superman and, you know, his Batman, I'm very interested. But
no,
what?
You can go ahead and continue your thought.
Oh, I was just going to start talking about the Batmobile.
Okay. As far as the Batman suit, I kind of stated as soon as I saw it pop up on Twitter, and I was pretty quick to it, to the point I had a conversation with multiple people going. I said that the cowl was more of a hush cowl in style, just basing it off of what we see here. The suit kind of looks like the New 52, kind of almost textured quasi armor, quasi, you know, cloth, and then the bat emblem is, and the belt are Dark Knight Returns.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with that.
But I think he looks pretty badass. I don't have a problem with it. I'm glad they went with a slightly different look than what they've been doing over the last 10 years.
Now the memes that sprung up around it are pretty funny.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Batman.
Yeah, I may or may not have listed that in the show notes, but if I didn't, I'll try and put them in there. But the fact that he's always down, like facing down on everything, and then they just put him in different scenarios, it looks hilarious.
I think my favorite one is the one where he's pushing the swing, the animated GIF or GIF.
I haven't seen the animated one yet.
Oh, that's just I favorited it on Twitter. I'll have to at you with it. It's pretty. It's the first one I saw. It was pretty funny. So, what do you think of the Batmobile? Well, what we've seen of the Batmobile.
Okay. Based on just the image with Batman, like the rear end shot of it that they had, where it does have the bat fin to it. It almost looks like they tried to take something from like Batman and Robin or Batman Forever with the fin, like the single fin that goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not as annoying, like comic-y annoying, where it just sticks up. But it's also at the back, so it's again, it's kind of hard to judge it. But for what we see of the front, I don't have a problem with it. You can definitely tell it almost looks like it could be a two-person cockpit. And it almost looks like it could have the ability to almost Batman Beyond-ish fly.
Yeah, the model that is going around looks like it may be some kind of flying version of it.
Which that very well could be the same like style of the Batmobile, because again, they don't show the front on the image with Batman, and the back does look different than that image. So that could be like a Batwing version that they have floating around in the Batmobile itself, because the prototype doesn't have the fin on it, and the rear teaser that they sent out before they revealed this kind of had the fin, and then obviously you had the wheels and everything else. So I mean, it could be. I'm kind of hoping that the style of it, because I know some of it shows up that it's the same as this prototype image, but I'm kind of hoping that it follows more of like maybe the Arkham Knight Batmobile for the sides and the front.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really dig that Batmobile. But I mean I think that for as much as I didn't like, I enjoyed Man of Steel, but for as much as I didn't. I think that he's nailing these comic references right on the head with giving it his own spin and having it still stay realistic to not only the character but to real life. So I mean, I'm optimistic for the film now that we've actually seen some pictures, and I agree with you. I am ready to see what they do with Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. So, my initial reaction to the teaser shot of the Batmobile with the I don't know what, the tarp draped over it, was that somebody mated the Tumblr with the Batman Forever Batmobile. I have to see the whole thing. I don't know. I can't.
No, I agree. It's kind of hard to judge that Batmobile at this point because we haven't seen the full thing. And the same thing with the Batsuit. I mean, yeah, you can collect a lot of detail, and from what people have, photoshopped to brighten it up, or, from what little bit you can see in the image. But they're just rough teasers at this point. I agree. I'd have to see the full thing.
Yeah,
and that teaser with the tarp on it, it almost looks like the Arkham Asylum Batmobile.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't think it'll be bad. I like Zack Snyder, and I think the way that Batman looks. By the way, I sent you a link to the /film article with the colorized version.
Okay.
It's in your phone, so you won't be able to look at it until we're done here. But
I'll include it in the post.
They, I mean, I'm not down on the movie. I think the other part too, one of the reasons I was kind of like, meh, okay, is that the hype train for this just started way too early. And I know we've talked about that, at length, and TFG1 has thrown in his 2 cents about that, but I just think the hype train for this started way too early, or these announcements were not like at the best possible time, or they're not even that good or the announcements aren't even that good. Like, they're not like special. Like, I think, and it could be because they haven't really shot anything, but I sat down to watch, they throw out the teaser for the Batmobile, and then they have the suit reveal and everything, and then I sit down And this is nothing. I sit down to watch Godzilla last night, which, by the way, that's pretty good as far as like monster movies goes. And I'm not like, I don't know Godzilla like some people do, but I actually enjoyed the movie. But that's besides the point. I sat down to watch it, and the best thing I think that DC really could have done, or Warner Brothers could have done, is thrown a Batman versus Superman teaser trailer on there. And that
would have made sense.
And it wouldn't have to be anything major, because we all, I'm assuming, I say we all, but we all might not. But you must, Steve. You remember the first teaser trailer for The Dark Knight, which was an all-black screen that had light shooting out, like cutting through the bat symbol, with the Joker, with Michael Caine's monologue about the Joker.
And then you just have his laughter in there.
Yes, that was it. And it's the Batman logo, and it says The Dark Knight, and it's Michael Caine's talking about the Joker, and then the Joker's laugh. And that was the very first like teaser for The Dark Knight, and that was chilling. Like, I feel like this blitz of the pictures and stuff, I feel like it should have culminated in a teaser for Batman versus Superman. But the problem is they don't have anything shot yet that they can put on screen, which is okay because, like I said, that first teaser for Dark Knight didn't have anything in it. But apparently they don't have a logo finalized. They don't have a title finalized. The date isn't even finalized. The marketing for this movie is just so, like I said, the hype train started way too early. And the marketing just seems so mismanaged because they can't really do anything because they don't know anything. Or if they do know anything, they're not telling the public that they know anything, which gives a perceived look to the public that they're winging this thing. They're like flying by the seat of their pants.
Which it almost seems like that's what they're doing.
Well, because you have the rumors about how they're going to start with an unfinished script, and every other day there's a new casting announcement, and this, that, and the other thing. It's kind of, do something to show the fans that you're getting your act together. I mean, how great would it have been to see this blitz? You get the Batmobile, you get Batman, so you can actually see what he looks like, so everyone can breathe a sigh of relief. And then you go and you sit down in Godzilla, and there's a 30-second teaser, like officially announcing the movie and, showing that they moved the release date. Because we all know that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, they aren't going to battle Avengers 2 or Captain America 3.
But, like, how great would that have been if they just done that? Like, that would have been, like, the first piece of, that you could grab, tangible piece that you could grab onto about this movie and get excited about it. And I just feel like they completely botched it. And I don't mean to sound like a downer and rant, because I like the picture that they showed. It alleviates a lot of, I can't really say I was worried about this movie from the beginning, because I wasn't. I mean, we had our initial reaction to them announcing Ben Affleck as Batman, but that went away in the same podcast.
Yeah.
I remember that transition. That was weird. We started off flying off the top of our heads, and then by the end of the show, we're all like, there's acceptance. It's going to be all right.
Well, I mean, and you can kind of see you can see his chin clearly in the image, and he, as far as that, he fits it.
He looks like Batman.
Yeah.
Not only that, he looks like the comic book Batman. Like he does. He's big like the comic book Batman, and Henry Cavill was big as Superman. They weren't like, Christopher Reeves was big, but he was big, but he wasn't like,
he was a thinned out big.
He wasn't muscular. And then Ralph was not big at all. And that was kind of how they were showing his strength, by showing like, he's not a big guy, but he can do he can move massive things, and he can do unbelievable things. But Henry Cavill as Superman was huge. And like Snyder, I think he's shown that with Watchmen and with 300 that he gets whether they're good movies or not, he gets the way that the movies should look.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Bale still holds a special place in my heart as Batman, because let's face it, while this is a picture of Ben Affleck, we still haven't heard him talk.
No. And that's going to be the telling point too.
So, but the way he looks, this is all promising, and I've been nothing but, I have nothing bad to say. I still don't have anything bad to say about this movie, other than the way that it's being handled publicly. But as a geek, I'm totally fine with everything that I've seen or that I've heard, because eventually it's not going to be called Batman versus Superman. And
no,
if they're smart, they'll do what I brought up, that one commenter said, and I brought it up like 2 podcasts ago, where they'll just do like big event movies rather than these smaller, like, single character movies that Marvel wants to do, but they'll do like the larger stuff like Justice League, Doom, and some stuff like that, which would be cool. But all right, anything else you want to add before we cap this one?
No, I think we're done with the Batman vs Superman gravy train.
Okay. That is until we can plaster Wonder Woman all over the website.
Yeah. Can't forget they added Cyborg too.
Yeah, until we can plaster Wonder Woman all over the website.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we can take a spot to place an ad. And
sounds good.
Maybe when we come back on the other side, we can talk a little TV.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
I have tickets to the show. Anybody wants them? Message me.
I'll take them.
I said to message me, not post it in the comments. I disregard your request.
Come on, man.
No, follow private message procedures. You went rogue, now look at us. Having it out in the comment section.
Dude, you've turned into a monster.
You made me this way.
And we're back on the other side of whatever ad Steve deems worthy of dropping in there.
Yes.
I thought I would just say up front, well, we're going to talk a little TV here. We're going to save Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow until next week to talk about. Partially due to my own TV watching habits and Steve not watching the last 10 minutes of the Arrow season finale. Basically, and what happened for me was I watched the third to last episode of both S.H.I.E.L.D. and Arrow, and I was like, okay, there are 2 episodes left in each season. I am in each show's season. I said, I am not going to watch these until I can watch them back to back, because I don't want to have to wait to, deal with whatever cliffhanger is at the end of whatever episode.
Makes sense.
I just wanted to be able to, blitz them as like one 90-minute special. So that is why we cannot talk about S.H.I.E.L.D. or Arrow. However, Steve, I did see on Twitter that one finale you did catch was Once Upon a Time.
Yes, I did. And I loved the fact that they played both the episodes back to back.
Mm-hmm.
In one episode.
Agreed. I guess spoilers a little bit. 30 seconds here. What did you think of them adding the Frozen character? I mean, now we can't mention it by name, but
I was fine with it. I mean, I kind of thought that was a logical direction to go, since they've used up a lot of the fairy tale characters. So it kind of made sense that they would pull from that.
What I think is actually interesting about the whole thing is, and granted, I have not seen the last 2 episodes of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we all know I have not been very high on it. And it has taken a turn for the better with the, since Winter Soldier basically propped up the storytelling in the series.
Well, it threw S.H.I.E.L.D. through a whirlwind, which is what it needed.
Right. So basically, it propped it up. It became the pillar on which Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is now going to stand. But I feel like this season of Once Upon a Time. First of all, this might be just my imagination, but this has been a really long TV season. And
yeah, it seems like that to me too.
I don't know if I think the reason it feels like that is shows like Once Upon a Time, they actually told 2 stories in one season. And the 2 halves were broken up by their mid-season finale, like when they went on hiatus. So like from the beginning of the season to the mid-season break was all about Peter Pan. And
yeah, that's right.
From the mid-season break to the finale was all about The Wizard of Oz.
The Wicked Witch.
Yeah. And it made that entire season feel so long. Not like long in like a bad way, but it just felt so long because they told 2 complete story arcs in one season, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I like that they didn't drag it out all season like they could have.
Like most shows do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they gave it enough time to breathe, to grow, and then also to put a cap on it before it becomes annoying.
Yeah, it's almost like they decided to take the, they do like a 22, 24 episode season, and it seems like they decided to divide their stories up into like the cable side of things, where each story is going to be told in 12 episodes, 11 or 12 episodes, which makes it great for just watching and blitzing it. I did enjoy it. I also enjoyed the end of last season too, like when they all got on the Jolly Roger and went looking for Peter Pan.
Yeah.
I will say though, the Peter Pan arc was more disappointing to me than the Wicked Witch arc.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Pan was not nearly as cool as I wanted him to be. And I also don't like that everybody... The one knock I have against Once Upon a Time is that everybody knows everybody. Or that everything is
it's connected.
Yeah, like Peter Pan was
Rumple's father.
Yes. Like that. I really liked the character of Peter Pan up until they reveal that Rumple is his father, and I was like, no, or that Pan is Rumple's father. Yeah. And I was like, why? Why did you go and do that? Why do they have to know each other? Why can't they just be rivals? Like, why can't they just be 2 people that butt heads? Why do you have to throw in, family rivalry? And that constantly pops up, even with the Wicked Witch. Although with the Wicked Witch, it wasn't so much. It didn't feel as in your face as the Wicked Witch when they revealed that she's Regina's like sister. But
yeah, I mean, really, the only time they played on it is when she broke the spells.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just kind of... They're really irritated because I wanted Pan to be so cool. And him as a villain, I thought was a great twist.
Well, he was perfect, and I agree. I think they weakened the character by making him related to Rumple. Instead of just being somebody that Rumple fears.
Yeah, I almost get like with Pan and Rumple and with the Wicked Witch and Regina, I almost kept getting this the Sylar Peter vibe from Heroes, where they're going to they're the 2 most powerful characters in the show, and they're going to keep butting heads, but you're never going to get to see them fight because they're way too powerful to show them fight on screen. Which is why you weren't ever going to see Pan and Rumple throw down, and you were never really going to see Regina and the Wicked Witch throw down.
Which is why they came up with the MacGuffins that popped up.
Mm-hmm. The other thing that bothers me about the show is that Regina, unless I'm forgetting something, Regina isn't anybody. Like who I've had this conversation with my wife. That show, another thing that would make Once Upon a Time a lot better is if Regina was somebody like Maleficent.
Well, I think she wasn't Maleficent, but I think she was supposed to be like the. She's supposed to be the what is that the one that had the apples?
Well, that's Snow White. I mean, she is.
No, I mean like the poison apples.
Yeah, with the witch. She made herself look like a witch, and then made herself look like the queen.
Well, she's also made herself look like Ursula and the Queen of Hearts and various other things like that. So I mean, she kind of fits. It's kind of like making Rumple the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I feel like those other characters she was posing as exist on their own. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that she is. Like, I feel like if she was a named Disney evildoer, I could relate to her character.
Oh, so you're thinking
more.
of her more as she's like kind of like Emma and Henry, like just kind of a character they threw in to make the story.
Yeah, and I guess that maybe I feel that way because the evil queen in Snow White isn't a thing to me. Like, I mean, yeah, she's just the evil queen, and I guess that's what Regina is. But I feel like Regina, if Rumple is, you know, who he is, and Regina claims to be as powerful as she is, I feel like Regina should have been Maleficent. The problem is Maleficent was actually in the show, but was killed.
Yeah,
the first season, I think. Which I don't know. Certain characters and this is just me being a typical geek, you know, I wish it was this way, but it's not that way. I just feel like I could relate to it more or get more invested in it if I felt like she was an actual, and she's the evil queen from Snow White. I just don't know the evil queen from Snow White's name. Like, to me, she's not a named character. So I just thought it would be interesting. But I will say, I feel like the producers on Once Upon a Time are, you know, they kind of out-Marveled Marvel. If you think about it.
Yeah.
Because Disney got the rights to Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. So what did they do? They went ahead and threw the Wicked Witch and the whole Oz thing into Once Upon a Time. And they did it in its own like half-season story arc. And then, you know, Frozen became a huge hit. And what did they do in the end of the season? They throw Frozen in there. Like, I feel like, you know, Once Upon a Time is for, I don't want to sound sexist or anything like this, but Once Upon a Time is for women, and Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is supposed to be for men. But I feel like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is doing a really bad job.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's getting upstaged by Once Upon a Time every season, and I mean, granted, Agents hasn't been around that long, and it hasn't really. You said you haven't finished Agents?
No, not yet. And I know.
Well,
I'm too upset
I'm not going to go into any kind of detail, but I'm going to say that the last few episodes definitely ramps it up. Once, like the episode with Maria Hill, and you know, obviously they've been teasing Agent, you know, Nick Fury for the finale. It's the finale is really, it's good and it's interesting, but it also leaves questions. I mean, and they definitely left something open for season 2 on a couple of characters' fronts. And they almost wanted to pull a twist in a certain way, and obviously we'll talk more about it once you've seen it, but it's really good.
Right. I'm just hoping that I'm hoping the fact that they were renewed allows them to just kind of, we can use this as a small transition. I hope that this allows them to just run crazy like Arrow did.
I have a feeling based on the finale that they will.
And by transition there, I kind of want to talk about the Flash trailer that debuted on the Arrow season finale.
Now, I didn't see it on the season finale, but I saw the clip where they have. Are you talking about the newest one that came out, or are you talking about the one where they showed Arrow's face and then they showed the running with the electricity?
Well, there's the teaser, which was Ollie was going to shoot some arrows at a tree, and then the Flash Barry outruns the arrow and catches it.
I haven't seen that part.
Okay, that one is really short, and then there's a 5-minute extended trailer.
Okay, I haven't seen that either. Then apparently.
Oh, okay. I am excited for Flash.
I honestly, I'm more excited for Flash now that they figured out a way to tie him into, like, I was not the biggest Green Arrow fan until that show.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, he's still not Green Arrow yet.
I think he will be next season.
I definitely think you're right.
Because
I think that because he kind of evolves every season. Like, he was the Vigilante, and then the Hood, and then the Arrow, and then he'll become the Green Arrow.
Yep, I told my wife that today. I said he was known as the Vigilante in the first one, and then he was known as the Arrow in the second season, and now he's going to be the Green Arrow in the third season. So, but
I think the Flash is my second favorite character to Batman.
Me too.
Because,
I agree with you.
Well, not only because he's got a cool suit, he's got a cool, like, really cool power. Because honestly, who wouldn't want to be able to run that fast? And not to mention your metabolism would be awesome. But but no, I mean, he's got more depth to his character than a lot of the other DC characters do. He's had to deal with loss, and what did he do? He became a cop, and then, he's also kind of a partial, forensic scientist, and so it's kind of, there's just a lot more to his character than a lot of the other ones.
You haven't seen the extended 5-minute trailer?
No.
The way that it opens up, they basically kind of tell his origin in that 5-minute trailer. And
so they don't take 10 seasons?
No. I just, like a couple months ago, I think it was, I watched Flashpoint Paradox.
Such a good film.
From what I saw, and this is just complete fanboyism, and I have a tendency to imagine shows doing things that they couldn't possibly do or possibly do well, which is my own fault, and I often get disappointed when shows don't meet my expectations. But there's stuff in that 5-minute extended trailer that suggests that groundwork is being laid to tell the Flashpoint Paradox story,
which I could see that.
And the fanboy in me would either like to see that done like over 12 episodes or maybe even an entire season if they could, pull it off. But like I said, I tend to think a lot grander than what might actually be possible for network television.
I could see them doing it if they did like kind of the Once Upon a Time route, went up till the mid-season and then flipped it.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Story.
Like if it was
the only other problem is then they would have to introduce, the two versions of Batman, the Superman. I
don't know that they would have to. I think that's what I'm saying. I think they're laying the groundwork. I think between Arrow and Flash and Green Arrow, other characters will be introduced that they'll be able to put the twist on it. And I'm saying that they'll probably do Flashpoint Paradox, but I don't think it'll have Superman or Batman, but it'll have other characters with the twist put on them.
So, like, you could have, in place of Batman, you could have Arrow.
Yes.
And then, because then you could have his father survive instead of him or something, and become Arrow in the one instance, and various aspects to that degree.
Yep, and it's just there's like just a scene at the beginning of the 5-minute thing, and you'll probably we can talk about it next week, but after you've gotten a chance to watch it or whatever, but and see what you think. But it looks like they're laying the groundwork for Flashpoint Paradox. Granted, it won't be as violent as the animated feature was.
No.
If they can pull that off at all, mad props to CW and Marvel's television, or not Marvel, Warner Brothers television division, because bravo, guys. And I will say the suit doesn't look as bad as I thought.
It actually looks pretty good.
Again, you take a shot from a cell phone or from a regular camera out of context, it's gonna look like a moron going to cosplay. But you shoot it in a scene with an actual camera, and you get it color timed and effects added here and there, and it's gonna look good. There were a couple moments in the 5-minute extended trailer that I was kind of like, why do they show those shots? And it's when they show him while he's moving really fast. Rather than just, this is going to sound kind of weird. It's when they show him moving really fast up close rather than showing him moving really fast from far away. The up close, look at me, I'm running really fast shots look ridiculous. But when the camera is like pulled way back and it's just like a red and gold streak shooting across the screen, it looks pretty good, because I mean, there's only so many ways you can make a red and gold streak look, and it looks pretty good.
True.
So I'm excited. I'm interested to see how far the CW can push this stuff. As far as building the universe on TV. So, is there anything you want to talk, like TV shows you want to talk about?
Well, being that I don't actually have cable at the moment, which I may or may not have mentioned last week, I'm downloading them all through my phone to watch on my TV. We've already mentioned the Once Upon a Time. I really enjoyed that. The Arrow, I enjoyed that. Blacklist, I still have yet to watch the season finale. I've been following that. It's actually gotten progressively better, and from what I hear, season 2 is going to actually have a primary villain to go against Red.
See, I did watch
instead of being villain of the week.
I did watch the season finale of Blacklist. Did you say you have seen it or haven't seen it?
Have not.
Okay, I think it's either the finale or the second to last episode. They kind of reveal that the monster of the week stuff, or the villain of the week stuff, all led up to, they were all connected. They kind of reveal his web a little bit, and I can't remember if that was in the finale or the second to last episode. However, there is one good thing that I don't want to spoil for anyone that actually cares about the Blacklist. There was one good thing that happened in the season finale.
Did they kill somebody?
But when it was over, it dawned on me that I'm not entirely sure that what I'm hoping happened. Which makes me...
In other words, they could have faked you out?
Yes, which makes me disappointed.
I hope whatever I'm thinking it is true.
I do too, but at the same time, I don't know that it actually happened. It looks like it did, but then the scene changes, and then it kind of got buried under the next scene, and then the episode went on, and then it ended, and then I was kind of like, wait a minute.
They may have played that off.
I was like, did it happen or didn't it happen? No. So, anything? I've got a couple other ones to talk about, but do you have anything else?
I still have yet to watch Big Bang Theory's finale. I know I missed it. I didn't realize Last Man Standing had ended a couple weeks ago.
It's coming back though.
Yeah, I hadn't seen any new episodes. I was like, huh, that was the end. But that's kind of, your typical sitcom. There's not really a
event. There's no event.
Yeah, there's no event. So I was kind of like, oh yeah, that's what they do. The Tomorrow People, I was quite sad that got canceled because the last episode that aired was good.
Awesome. Yes. Right? Okay.
Once.
That's one of the ones I wanted to talk about. I had it got canceled, and I had 7 unwatched episodes on my computer. And the show, I found out the show is canceled. And I was like, oh, okay, well now I don't have to watch those 7 episodes. But then I kind of remembered, I was like, wait a minute, I actually kind of liked Tomorrow People. And so I was kind of like, well, you know what? I'm going to finish this to see if I should be mad that it was canceled. And my wife and I finished, we watched the last 7 episodes. We watched the season finale today. Finished it almost right before we sat down to record this episode. I'm mad. Well, I don't know if I'm mad. I'm like irked that it's not coming back, because that season finale was like the last 10 minutes was great.
Oh, I know. That was so epic with what happened in the last 10 minutes between the Tomorrow People that were underground flipping out and stealing the dad and taking him to the founder, and then Jedediah all of a sudden miraculously having powers. And then he was going like he had a can of whoop ass to go towards the founder.
Wait a minute.
And then it just...
Oh, you haven't seen the finale?
That's not the finale?
No.
Oh, I thought that was the finale. I never saw
there's
anything
one more.
else pop up.
Yeah, there's one more.
Damn.
Yep. Okay, I won't.
So the next episode is actually way better than that one.
It starts out really strong, and then kind of
dies.
And kind of dies in a little bit in the middle, and then it finishes really strong. And I was like, oh, it's like,
well, don't feel bad about spoiling it, because I'm still going to download it and watch it, because I could be wrong. Maybe you can help me out here with this. Did Steven, the only time I saw the main character, Steven, stop time was in the first episode. He did it then, and then he kind of did it again when they quasi killed him.
Okay. But really, so for all intents and purposes, he only did it the one time. Like,
true. The only time that he intentionally did it.
Right. Or, well, unintentionally did it. He did it intentionally once when they killed him. And the only other time he did it was by accident in the pilot. Well, I'll say this. He does it again in the finale. And it's awesome. I mean, it's a small scene, but it's great. And I was watching it, and I know that it's canceled. Maybe that added to the impact of what I was seeing on the screen. But I was just like, this is great. And the direction that they were going, it's almost like I have to imagine that them getting canceled was like news to them. Because the things they did in that last episode set up season 2 to be great. And if I have one bad thing to say about the Tomorrow People, is I feel like somehow they should have worked out a way to make it a television series based off of Chronicle.
Okay.
I know you said you didn't like the movie because of the way that it was shot, but you have seen it, right?
Yes.
I was waiting for people to start flying by the end of, in the last 7 episodes I was watching. It dawned on me that nobody was flying, but they all had the same powers as the characters from Chronicle.
That is strange.
And I kind of felt like if if Chronicle had been like the baseline for this series, it could have been much better because, you know, more people would be infected, more people would be getting powers. It almost kind of the hero's journey in this is in Tomorrow People is almost like the hero's journey in Chronicle. And it kind of bummed me out that nobody flies. I don't mean to spoil anything for you, but nobody flies, and I can't figure that out. I don't understand why nobody flies in this series.
They kind of kept with what they called the 3 Ts.
Well, in Chronicle,
and then that was it.
Well, in Chronicle, they use their telekinetic abilities to move themselves.
Yeah, they didn't actually fly, but they used that to do it.
So it's kind of like, why is no one flying in this? And I liked it. Definitely, yeah. There is one more episode. I kind of had a feeling that once you started talking about them, you know, capturing his dad and taking him to the founder, I was like, wait. You haven't seen the last episode.
Well, like, I waited for it, and I was like, what? But, yeah, it must not have hit the internet yet.
Now you have something to look forward to.
Yes. Now, the one show I didn't give a rat's behind that got canceled was Revolution. Because it kind of tapered off, kind of like how Heroes did.
Yeah, I stopped watching that 6 episodes into the second season. I cut it. I chopped it.
I stopped it about 4 episodes ago, and I was I stopped it probably mid-March, and I was like, you
made it so close. How you get? That's like getting like almost all the way to the end of the journey. No, I'm going home.
Well, when they started getting into the bugs are alive, and then they, you know, after the fake virtual world, you know, I just kind of was like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this crap.
Okay,
where the girlfriend or the wife got embedded with the bugs.
Okay,
and they took her body over.
This conversation should just stop. Because you're making me really happy that I stopped watching it 6 episodes in.
Yeah, it got really convoluted. The bugs were dying, and because there was a bad memory code left in the prompts, and they needed Aaron to fix it. And he ended up meeting up in this place somewhere. I can't remember what state or something or what area, but it was his old programming buddy from where he worked before. I think it was like Google or something like that.
Yeah.
But the guy was like, "Oh, these bugs, and oh, glory to God," and you know, and healing people with it. And then these bugs were dying, and they needed him to reprogram it, and so he faked it out, and then the bugs faked him out and made him think that they killed Rachel, and then he fixed the code, and then they were like, "Haha, we showed you." and then they left, and then so it was just him and his wife leaving, and you know, they put him temporarily in this fake world where it was modern day, and him and his wife were there, and he owned this big tech company, and then, you know, things started getting figured out, but that was before they got fixed and whatever. But you end up finding that the wife was embedded completely with these bugs to the point that they took over her consciousness completely.
Okay.
So they could experience, you know, love, sex, you know, being hurt and all this other crap. And it was just, it got really stupid. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I was kind of hoping that they would just turn the lights back on and just have a free for all.
I've kind of been neglecting catching up on all the. I mean, I've been following what's been canceled, what's been renewed, and stuff like that. But I've been neglecting watching some of the trailers for upcoming TV shows. Like, I have not seen the trailer for Gotham. I hear good things about it. I just have not gotten around to watching it, so I have no opinion on that. I bring that up because that was what most people were talking about in the comments of the last episode.
Yeah, it's actually surprisingly looking very good at this point in time. The only thing that people are kind of having a pet peeve over is what villains they're introducing before they're actually villains, or having them start out automatically at that point.
Well, see, that's the thing. I do they start out because it's a teaser. I don't know how many episodes of Gotham have been shot, so it's kind of like, do they start out that way, or do they actually get an episode dedicated to their introduction? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that all that remains to be seen. I mean, I'm going to watch Gotham this fall. I like I said, I haven't seen anything other than like a couple screenshots here and there, so I can't render an opinion on it yet. But I will have one this fall, and
it's almost got this Alcatraz kind of look to it.
Oh no.
In color scheme,
like Alcatraz, the TV series.
Yeah. As far as color scheme, not.
Alcatraz was pretty bright. Like it wasn't.
Well, I'm saying in some of the dark tones that they had at points, like with the flashbacky stuff.
Okay, all right. I guess
it's kind of like that. Not the bright modern day. Oh, look what happened here. You know, it's
okay.
But my only concern is I hope that it makes it long enough to actually have some kind of a payoff so that it can, naturally progress, kind of like Tomorrow People or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, stuff like that, so that it can actually kind of grow legs before they decide whether they're going to hack it or slash it off.
Well, it got a full season pickup, which for most TV shows doesn't have. It got a full series order, so they can start crafting out a story for 22 episodes, which is great. The problem is if Fox decides to tinker with the schedule, like they did with Almost Human. So while they have the freedom to produce 22 episodes of the show and 22 episodes will be made, it remains to be seen about how Fox will handle the airing of said episodes. So everything sounds great up front, but just remember what network it's on.
Yep.
I can't remember. I think I talked about it on the last episode, the last podcast I was on, but one of the other TV shows that I'm really enjoying right now is Hannibal. And that was actually renewed for a third season. So really excited about that. And I think that after this season is over, I think I'm actually going to read the books regarding Hannibal Lecter, because I have not read them, but I've seen the movies. I did not realize how many characters from the books and the movies have been in the TV show so far. And I say that because the what is it, Red Dragon, Silence of the Lambs, and Hannibal, the characters in them are pretty much like everyday type characters. They're FBI agents, they're psychiatrists, they're doctors. They're not anything really special. Like they don't stand out like the character of Hannibal Lecter, or like other than like the main characters in each movie. The extended cast doesn't stand out as people that you would probably recognize on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? And so like I was watching Hannibal and I just decided to find out what happens to the main character in like in the books. Because I was kind of trying to devise how the main character in Hannibal may be written out of the show to make room for Clarice Starling. And so I was on Wikipedia, and there were just like I was seeing the names in the Wikipedia article matching up with the names of the characters in the TV show, and I was like, "Whoa! I didn't realize that these were like the same people. I thought the people in the TV show, other than like the main cast, were just people that were like made up to make it a TV show."
That's kind of a nice twist.
And some of the characters are like, not everyone is from the books or the movies. Some of the characters are made up, but not as many as I was suspecting. Which is great. And the series is wonderfully shot. In fact, I believe I said this before, but I still can't believe it's on network television. Even if it is 10 o'clock at night, I cannot believe this is airing on network television. It is like gruesome sometimes. But that's all I've got for this week. And I'm sorry, I am kind of self-sabotaging here because I got my wife hooked on Arrow. And she wants to watch more of it tonight. So
yay! I can't get my wife to watch it. I've tried. She doesn't want to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Arrow. And Agents I could understand more because it took so damn long to get good.
Yeah.
It didn't, and like you said, it didn't get good until Captain America 2 came out.
Yep.
Because you finally start getting payoffs from everything, and then they, the revelations that happen in the last episode are great. But Arrow, while season 1 was flawed, it was still better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. up until the Cap 2 point.
Oh, well, Arrow got better once CW announced that it was renewed. Like, that was like a night and day change.
Oh, I know. It's like they flipped the switch and then everything started progressing.
I
just wish I could get her to watch it.
I will say this. I just starting over watching Arrow from the beginning. I was surprised. I did not realize that what's her name? I just saw it. I'm looking on Wikipedia right now. That Sarah Lance was recast.
Really?
She is a different actress in the pilot. She's not blonde. She's a brunette.
In the pilot of what?
Of Arrow.
So they recast her before it's actually started?
Well, I mean, I have to watch the second episode because it's Sarah, and Sarah dies on the boat. Well,
oh, okay. Yeah, the one that becomes the Black Canary. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know, like, if
yeah, they definitely had a different chick.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that until I just watched the first episode again. I didn't realize that she had been recast, so I was kind of like, oh, I was sitting there watching it. I was like, oh, well, she was recast, and my wife's like, oh, well, then that must mean that she doesn't die. And then I was just kind of like, I didn't say anything because it's Arrow, so nobody really dies.
Yeah, everybody kind of comes back, even in flashbacks.
So, but yeah, it was interesting to see that right off the bat. I was like, oh, well, son of a bitch. Yeah, Jacqueline MacInnes Wood was Sarah Lance in the pilot for one episode. Another crazy thing is Laurel changes completely, her look from I don't know if it happens slowly over season 1, but her look in the pilot versus the way that she looks in all of season 2, drastically different. I was shocked.
Huh.
It's like somebody went on a diet and didn't need to.
Yeah, she did kind of thin out a lot.
So, but anyways,
every time I see her, I see the demon from Supernatural.
Was she in Supernatural?
Yeah, for I think season 3.
Oh yeah,
and then
Lilith.
they recast her.
Oh,
yep.
Interesting.
No, not Lilith.
Ruby.
Ruby.
Well, she's.
Yep. And then they killed that body, and then in season 4 they recast her with another chick.
I was gonna say because she's credited on IMDb as Ruby and Lilith.
Yeah, because she died in that body.
Okay, and then
they had Lilith take over the body.
What's really interesting is my wife recognized her from Gossip Girl. I didn't even recognize her from Gossip Girl.
I knew she was in that too, but
yeah, I just let that slip, everybody. Anyways, all right. If you don't have anything you want to add, I think I'm done for the day.
I think so too. I think we'll maybe throw a couple of questions of maybe what shows you're sad got canceled. I mean, I know that it was kind of mentioned last week somewhat, but now that you've seen those, that most of everyone has seen the finales, or maybe even this, what finales did you find most impressive compared to other shows? Like, for instance, like we've mentioned the Once Upon a Time or Arrow, or I mean, I know that hasn't aired yet, but or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Tomorrow People, that kind of stuff. Or, and just to throw another question in there, since all the superhero stuff's coming back out again, between, X-Men and Avengers and Batman, do you have superhero fatigue with the film industry?
Yeah, that was I thought about asking that, but I was kind of like, do I want to step on the MY Weekly toes? But whatever. It's our
But
show.
it's superhero. It's superhero. We're talking, just in general between TV and film, and because it seems like that's all that's coming out anymore is comic films.
Yeah, I'm wondering how long before the CW gets spun off into the DC network.
I don't know. It's almost going that direction, isn't it? I mean, they were talking about doing an Amazon show for like a Wonder Woman thing before they did Flash.
I mean, if we're being completely honest, they've only got 2 right now. I don't know that they've announced anything else. I mean, yeah, there was talks of an Amazon show and stuff like that, but I think what's going to happen is I think it's going to depend on, like, I think whatever comes next is going to depend on the success of Flash. Like, because Flash spun out of the success of Arrow, so whatever comes next is going to spin out of the success of Flash. So maybe another question there is, if you aren't suffering from superhero fatigue, which DC character, realistically, which DC character would you like to see Warner Brothers bring to the Arrow universe next after Flash? Let's bring Tom Welling back as an actual Superman.
You mean do it right?
Yeah.
They probably won't do that only because of the fact that they have Henry Cavill in the films. They won't want to double, confuse.
Well, here's the thing.
But they're doing it with Gotham, so then again.
Well, I'll throw this. Well, here's the thing. Batman isn't in Gotham.
Yes.
But I will say, I don't think we'll ever see Batman in Gotham. I'm sorry.
They'll pull the Smallville.
Even if that show goes for 10 seasons, he's only going to be like 18.
Well, they said that they may jump time in it.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
So if they do, I hope that they don't. I mean, it might even be interesting to see, like, maybe for the finale of whenever they decide to do it, have a clip from one of the movies with Affleck in it.
It's going to be, if they do that, it's going to be the same crap that was like from Smallville. They will just use stock footage from one of the. You know what it'll be? It'll be that damn rooftop scene from the '89 Batman, like the first time you see Batman, where it's computer generated and he just turns around and his cape is there.
Yeah.
Oh, please
it'll definitely be that.
Oh, please let that be the end of that series.
That would be hilarious.
But I think that if I'm being completely honest, I'll even throw the listeners a bone here. If Arrow doesn't jump from the guy that they've cast as Arrow and Flash doesn't jump from the small screen to a cameo in DC's larger universe on screen and in theaters, I would almost say it's fair game for them to make a show revolving around anybody. Because if DC is fine putting a different Flash or even a different Green Arrow, because they're not going to miss out on the opportunity of putting Flash on the big screen.
No.
And
he's just too big.
If the Flash TV show is a hit, like it looks like it might be, if it is a hit and they don't put that kid on the big screen as Flash, but they instead, cast another person to play Flash on the big screen, all bets are off. DC could bring any character they really wanted to into the small screen. It's just a matter of, can they make it work? And I think that if they're tackling the Flash, I think that opens them up to do a lot of different characters, because the Flash is a very special effects heavy character, whereas Arrow wasn't.
True.
So,
Green Lantern, do it right. Or Nightwing.
Well, see, I've heard that. That I've heard.
I think I was jokingly about it a while back too.
But
I've also heard that they were talking about wanting to bring Bloodhaven and because they've mentioned Bloodhaven, I believe, and they've talked about bringing Nightwing in.
I have heard that. I've seen shots of the supposed actor that tried out for the role, and it wasn't Justin Bieber, so nobody worry. But yeah, all right, that's it. That's all I got. I feel like we can just keep going if we just keep spinning off of different directions.
I think we'll, if enough comments come along between now and next week, I think we'll talk more about it next week then, along with the rest of the finales that apparently I haven't seen yet, and the ones that you haven't seen that I have seen. So,
yep.
So anything else?
I'm good. I'm gonna go watch some Arrow with the wife.
Sounds good. So after I edit this, I'm probably going to try and obtain that last Tomorrow People. So thanks as always for joining us here on Altered Geek Unlimited. You can contact us in the following ways. You can call the voicemail line 502-526-5821. You can email us feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can visit the episode post on the website. You can also visit us on the Facebook fan page by searching Geekcast Radio Network. You can contact us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio, #AlteredGeek. My Twitter handle is @SCP21, and yours is?
@BoothNinja81.
So, as always, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks. See you next time.
Bye.